Let's get weird into it. Number 10. The stopped clock illusion. You glance at an analog clock on the wall. For one long, strange second, the second hand freezes in place, defying the laws of time itself. You blink, and suddenly it jerks back to life, ticking along as if nothing happened. Did you just witness a tiny, localized time stop? Did you briefly gain superpowers? Nope. You just got played by your own brain. This glitch is called chronostasis, and it's a side effect of your eyes working faster than your consciousness can keep up. When your eyes dart from one point to another, it's called a saccade. This movement is so fast and jerky that if your brain actually processed the visual information, your life would look like a found-footage horror movie filmed during an earthquake. To save you from constant nausea, your brain just deletes the footage from the eye dart. It essentially turns off visual input for a millisecond, but that leaves a gap in your perception. Your brain, being a perfectionist editor, can't stand a blank space in the timeline. So, when your eyes land on the clock, your brain cleverly takes the image you see after the dart, the clock face, and retroactively pastes it over the gap. It backfills the missing moment with what you're looking at now. So the reason the second hand looks frozen is that your brain is holding that single frame in your consciousness for slightly longer than a second to cover its tracks. It's a neurological lie to create a smooth experience. You're not seeing time stop. You're experiencing your brain's sloppy video editing in real time. Number 9. The Hypnagogic Jerk. You're finally drifting off to sleep. Your body is warm, your mind is blissfully empty, and you're tumbling gently into a dream. Suddenly, with no warning, you have the intense, heart-stopping sensation that you are falling from a great height. Your entire body convulses in a violent spasm, yanking you back to full panicked consciousness. This is the hypnagogic jerk, and it's basically a communication error between your brain and your body. As you fall asleep, your muscles begin to relax and your breathing slows. This is, the entire point. But sometimes, a part of your brain, let's call it the panicky monkey brain, stays a little too alert. As it feels the muscles go limp and the heart rate drop, it misinterprets this normal process of falling asleep as the body literally dying or falling out of a tree. In a sheer panic, the monkey brain screams, "Wake up! We're going down!" and sends a massive electrical shock to all your major muscle groups to jolt you back into action. It's a full system reboot caused by a false alarm. One theory is that this is an ancient primate reflex left over from our ancestors who actually did sleep in trees. For them, a muscle twitch could be the difference between a good night's sleep and becoming a fossil. For you, it's just a deeply unnecessary biological prank that makes you kick your partner in the shin at 1 in the morning. Number 8. The Nocebo Effect. Everyone knows about the placebo effect. You take a sugar pill thinking it's a super drug, and your headache magically vanishes because your brain is an optimistic idiot. But let's talk about its evil twin, the Nocebo Effect. This is the glitch where your brain's pessimism becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy of pain and misery. The Nocebo Effect is when a negative expectation causes a negative result. If a doctor tells you a shot will be extremely painful, it will hurt more than it otherwise would have. If you read a list of potential side effects for a new medication, headaches, dizziness, nausea, you might suddenly start developing all of them, even if you're in the group that's taking the placebo pill. Your brain is so convinced that something bad is supposed to happen that it generates the symptoms out of thin air. This isn't just imagining things. It's a measurable physical phenomenon. The expectation of pain can trigger the release of hormones that actually increase pain sensitivity. It's your own belief system actively working against you, turning your body into a laboratory for your anxieties. It's the reason voodoo curses can sometimes appear to work. If you believe strongly enough that you've been cursed with bad luck, you will subconsciously start acting in ways that create it. Basically, your brain is so powerful it can be tricked into becoming its own worst enemy, which is both impressive and utterly terrifying. Number 7. The Paresthesia Glitch. You wake up in the middle of the night and decide to roll over. Except you can't. One of your arms is completely unresponsive. You try to lift it with your other hand, and it flops around with the horrifying dead weight of a foreign object. For a moment, you're convinced a stranger's limb has been attached to your body. You stare at this useless meat stick, and then the feeling starts to return. First a dull tingle, then an agonizing, fizzing explosion of pins and needles. This is paresthesia, the glitch you get when you literally cut off communication with a part of your own body. By sleeping on your arm, you compress the nerves, effectively pinching the phone line between your limb and your brain. The dead feeling is the result of those nerves completely failing to send or receive signals. Your brain is shouting ARMMOVE, and your arm is shouting back nothing but static. The real chaos begins when you relieve the pressure. The nerves start to reboot, but it's not a clean process. They fire off randomly and chaotically, sending a storm of nonsensical data back to your brain. Your brain, having no idea how to interpret this garbage information, just translates it as pain, fizzing, ANTS. Make it stop. It's the neurological equivalent of an old dial-up modem, screaming as it tries to reconnect to the internet. It's not a sign of damage. It's the sound of your nervous system violently rebooting, and it's a wonderful reminder that your limbs are only yours as long as the connection is good. Number 6. Cryptomnesia. You're in the shower, or driving, or doing some other menial task when it hits you. A stroke of pure, unadulterated genius. An idea for a song, a novel, a world-changing invention. It arrives fully formed, a gift from the cosmos. You are brilliant. You are original. You rush to write it down, marveling at your own creativity. Then, a week later, you're watching a movie and you hear a character say the exact killer line you thought you wrote. Congratulations. Your brain just committed plagiarism and forgot to tell you. This glitch is called Cryptomnesia, which literally means hidden memory. It's a flaw in your mental filing system. Your brain is fantastic at storing information, but it's terrible at remembering the context. The who, what, where, and when of how it learned something. It files the memory of the cool idea on one shelf, but completely forgets to attach the sticky note that says, stolen from a 1990s sitcom. So, when you access that memory later, it feels new. There's no source tag, no memory of where it came from, so your consciousness assumes it must have created it. It's not that you're a thief, it's that your brain's librarian is lazy. This glitch is the reason why so many artists have been accused of unintentionally stealing melodies or ideas. Their brains serve them up a new concept that was actually just a forgotten memory from years ago. It's a humbling reminder that your most brilliant idea might just be something you have heard on the radio a decade ago. Number 5. Microsleeps. You're driving down a long, boring stretch of highway. You're a little tired, but you're focused. One moment, you're looking at the taillights of the car in front of you. The next moment, your head snaps up, and you're suddenly 100 feet further down the road. You didn't doze off. You didn't close your eyes. You just skipped. Time jumped forward, and you have a chilling black void where the last 3 seconds of your life should be. This is a microsleep, and it's one of the scariest glitches your brain can pull on you. It happens when one part of your brain, usually the part in charge of staying awake, decides to take an unannounced coffee break while the rest of you is still technically operational. For anywhere from a fraction of a second to a full 10 to 15 seconds, you are functionally asleep, even if your eyes are open. Your brain literally disconnects from the outside world. You stop processing visual information, you don't hear sounds, and you certainly don't form any memories. To your conscious mind, this period of shutdown doesn't exist. It's simply deleted from the record. When your brain plugs back in, it just picks up where it left off, creating the terrifying illusion of a time jump. It's not a memory lapse, it's a reality lapse. Your body was still moving. Your car was still hurtling down the highway, but for a few terrifying seconds, absolutely no one was home. Number 4. The Self-Sabotage Impulse. You're holding your brand new $1,000 phone over a storm drain. A perfectly normal, unhinged thought flickers through your mind. I could just drop it. You're in a dead silent library, and your brain helpfully suggests you could start screaming right now. You're talking to your boss, and a tiny, insane part of you wants to see what would happen if you just insulted their haircut. This is the imp of the perverse, or the intrusive thought glitch. It's the darker, more chaotic cousin of the call of the void. It's not a desire. It's an unwelcome and often horrifying what-if scenario that your brain generates and plays for you without your permission. It's your mind's way of exploring the most disastrous possible action in any given situation. Why does this happen? One theory is that it's a high-speed, backfiring reality check. By confronting the absolute worst thing you could do, your brain reinforces what you shouldn't do. The horror you feel at the thought of dropping your phone is a powerful confirmation of how much you want to keep it. It's your brain running a simulation of a terrible choice and recoiling from the result, all in the space of a nanosecond. It's a sanity check that feels an awful lot like insanity. A constant, low-level hum of chaotic suggestions from the glitchiest, most creative part of your mind. Number 3. The Brain-Tingle Glitch. You're watching a video of someone folding towels. or whispering into a weirdly shaped microphone, or just tapping their fingernails on a wooden box. And then it happens. A strange, pleasant, tingling sensation spreads across the top of your head and down your spine. It's not sexual, it's not emotional, it's just a tingle. A weird, pleasant, neurological static. This is ASMR, or Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response, and it's a glitch that an entire internet subculture has learned to exploit. For people who experience it, certain mundane auditory or visual triggers can cause a physical sensation of deep relaxation and pleasant euphoria. It's like finding a secret button on your scalp that, when pressed by the right sound, makes your brain fizz like a happy soda. Scientists still aren't entirely sure what it is. One theory is that it's a mild, pleasurable seizure. Another is that it's a form of synesthesia, where the wires get crossed in your brain and it interprets sound as a tactile sensation. The sound of crinkling plastic is literally being felt on your skin. For most of human history, this glitch was probably just a weird, unexplainable quirk. Now, it's a reminder that our sensory wiring is a lot messier and more interesting than we think. Your brain has a built-in massage function, but the activation codes are things like the sound of someone eating a pickle. Number 2. The time dilation effect. Think back to the last time you were in a car accident, or tripped down the stairs, or had any sudden terrifying scare. For those few seconds, time seemed to stretch out. You saw everything in slow motion. The shattering glass, the flailing of your own arms. It all played out like an action movie. Now think about the last time you were having a really good time with friends. The entire afternoon probably vanished in what felt like 20 minutes. This isn't just a feeling. It's a fundamental glitch in how we perceive reality. Your brain doesn't have a tidy internal clock that ticks at a constant rate. It measures the passage of time based on how much new information it's recording. When you're in a life-threatening situation, your brain's survival instinct kicks into overdrive. It starts recording everything, every detail, every sound, every sensation, in a desperate attempt to help you navigate the crisis. Because it's creating so many more memories per second than usual, the event feels much longer. In retrospect, the opposite is true when you're having fun or doing something routine. Your brain is a lazy data logger. If nothing new or threatening is happening, it goes into a low-power mode, barely writing anything to the hard drive. Fewer memories are formed. So when you look back, the entire period seems to have compressed into a much shorter duration. Time isn't a constant river. It's a glitchy video file that your brain speeds up during the boring parts and plays in slow motion during the highlights. Number 1. The blind spot autofill. Let's end with the biggest, most constant glitch of all. One that's happening to you right now. There is a hole in your vision. In each eye, there's a blind spot where the optic nerve connects to the retina. There are no photoreceptor cells there. It's a literal dead zone. So why don't you see 2 black holes floating in your vision at all times? Because your brain is a pathological liar. It doesn't just ignore the blind spots. It actively, seamlessly, and completely fabricates reality to cover them up. It looks at the surrounding area, the pattern on the wallpaper, the color of the carpet, the text on this screen, and just paints it in over the hole. You are not seeing the world as it is. You are seeing a heavily edited version of the world, doctored by your brain to create the illusion of a complete picture. And this autofill feature is always running. It's the same reason you can read a sentence with M-spelled rods and not even notice. Your brain sees what it expects to see, not what's actually there. This is the ultimate glitch. The realization that your entire, stable perception of reality is not a live video feed. It's a sophisticated reconstruction, a constant stream of best guesses and clever cover-ups designed to hide the flaws in your own hardware. The world doesn't look seamless. Your brain just makes it feel that way. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.